Alright, so yeah, the NBA inaugural mid-season tournament is here. On Friday, November 3rd, the mid-season tournament will kick off with the group play. So what is going on, everybody? How is everybody doing today? In this video, I'm going to be giving my mid-season tournament predictions. If you don't really know how the mid-season tournament is going to operate, you came to the right place. I will also be explaining it. So there's basically 3 groups in each conference. If you're a fan of the MLB and you know how their division schemes work, this will help. So basically, the 5 teams into each of the groups are assigned between 5 different pots. So in the 6 groups, there's 6 pot 1s. There's a pot 1 in each group, and it's broken down into conference. So every pot 1 team had a top 3 record in the conference last year. Pot 2 were records 4 through 6 in the conference. Pot 3 were 7 through 9. Pot 4, 10 through 12. And pot 5, 13 through 15. So let's run through the conferences. East Group A has the Philadelphia 76ers. They were a team that was top 3 last year, so they are pot 1 here. You have the Cleveland Cavaliers. They're the pot 2 team. Atlanta Hawks, Indiana Pacers, and the Detroit Pistons. Group B has the Milwaukee Bucks, the New York Knicks, the Miami Heat, the Washington Wizards, and the Charlotte Hornets. And Group C has the Boston Celtics, the Brooklyn Nets, the Toronto Raptors, the Chicago Bulls, and the Orlando Magic. Over in the Western Conference, in their Group A, you got the Memphis Grizzlies, the Phoenix Suns, the Los Angeles Lakers, the Utah Jazz, and the Portland Trailblazers. Over in Group B, you got the Denver Nuggets, the Los Angeles Clippers, the New Orleans Pelicans, the Dallas Mavericks, and the Houston Rockets. Over in Group C, finally, you got the Sacramento Kings, the Golden State Warriors, the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Oklahoma City Thunder, and the San Antonio Spurs. So each team is going to play every other team in their group at least once, 2 games at home, 2 games on the road. The team with the best record in their group will advance to the knockout stage. Think of it like the Elite 8. And if there's a tiebreaker, it will go by points differential. So say both teams are 3-1 at the top, just the team with the higher point differential will advance. But there are also wild cards as well. This kind of ties into what I said about the MLB before. So there's basically 3 division winners in the 3 groups. Then it's the next best record out of any of the groups to get that wild card spot. And then those teams will play in an Elite 8, then a Final 4, and then a championship game. And the Final 4, like the semifinals and the championship game, will be at a neutral site in Las Vegas. So it will be pretty cool. I'm actually super excited for this. The NBA also has special design courts just for the play-in tournament. So each team will have the design court. It might be a wacky color. It may look cool. And they'll play their 2 home games at that design court. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the predictions. So we'll start off in the Eastern Conference in Group A. Coming in last, I do have the Detroit Pistons going 1-3. The Pistons have actually been off to a great start this season. I love watching Cade Cunningham and Jalen Duren operate this offense. And Asor Thompson looks like Mr. Do-It-All as a rookie. But I do think that this is one of the harder group stages, so somebody has to come in last. Next up, I have the Atlanta Hawks at 2-2. The Hawks have been off to a rocky start this season. They were getting blown out by the Timberwolves the other day by 20 points at home, and then they went on a crazy run to advance to 2-2 on the year. Trae Young is not off to a good start, but DeJounte Murray is carrying that offense. Jalen Johnson also looks great in year 3. He looks like an early front runner for most improved up there with, of course, Cam Thomas. So yeah, I have them at 2-2. Coming in at 3rd, I do have the Indiana Pacers also at 2-2. They are off to a hot start this season. Tyrese Halliburton looks like an all-NBA caliber point guard. Aaron Nesmith looks like he's breaking out this season. And Miles Turner is anchoring this defense like always. But yeah, 2-2 here. Like I said, probably one of the more competitive groups. I have the Cleveland Cavaliers also going 2-2. They're going to be the 2 seed in this group stage. They've had a bunch of injuries to start the year to Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, and Jarrett Allen. So they will be banged up a little bit for the midseason tournament. That's why I have them coming in at the 2 spot. And then coming in first out of the group stage in the East Group A, I do have the Philadelphia 76ers going 3-1. They're going to have a new look team since they just traded away James Harden. They got KJ Martin, Nick Batum, Marcus Morris, and Robert Covington now. And they look great with no James Harden this year. They had a really competitive game against the Bucks. They beat up on the Raptors and the Blazers, and Embiid looks great. But most importantly, Tyrese Maxey looks like he's breaking out. And I know I mentioned Cam Thomas and Jalen Johnson before. Well, Maxey was my preseason most improved player pick, so I hope he wins the award, and he's looking like he's up there right now. On to Group B in the Eastern Conference, coming in the last spot, I do have the Washington Wizards at 1-3. I do think they'll probably find a way to get 1 win here. They do not look great to start off this season. It's been tough to watch Jordan Poole operate this offense, but I like what I've seen out of Daniel Gafford, Danny Avdija, and most importantly, Corey Kispert. He may end up as the best player on the Wizards by the end of the season, which is just wild to say. Coming in the 4th spot in that group, I do have the Charlotte Hornets also going 1-3. They've definitely been better than expected to start the season. Brandon Miller looks great to start off his rookie season. I love what I've been seeing out of Mark Williams, obviously LaMelo Ball as well. well, and they still have some solid veterans on the team. I do think that they're marginally better than the Wizards. Coming in the 3 spot, I do have the Miami Heat. They've been shaky to start the season. I think they'll go 2-2. Tyler Hero looks by far their best offensive player to start the season, and I just wonder if they're going to care too much about the midseason tournament. So coming in at the 2 spot, I do have the New York Knicks going 3-1. It's basically between the Knicks and the Heat, who I think will be 3-1 as the 2 spot in this group stage. And I do like the Knicks' depth a little bit more going up against Miami, and I think they do match up well against them. I know Miami beat them in the playoffs a couple months ago, but the Knicks have been off to somewhat of a rocky start. Randall looks horrible. Jalen Brunson doesn't look like the Brunson of last year. RJ Barrett has been phenomenal though for the Knicks, and I do think they'll go 3-1. And coming in at the top spot, I do have the Milwaukee Bucks also going 3-1 as well. They have not looked that dominant to start off the season, but I just don't think the Knicks match up well against them. And hey, I do think they could possibly lose to Miami, but that would be their only loss here. I do think they'll beat the Knicks, the Hornets, and the Wizards to get that 3-1 spot and have a great point differential. So yeah, we got the Sixers and Bucks coming out of the first 2 groups, and the last group here in the Eastern Conference, we got the Brooklyn Nets at this 5 spot coming in at 1-3. Cam Thomas looks phenomenal to start off this season, but I just don't think they're as talented as some of the other teams in this group. Coming in at the 4 spot, I do have the Chicago Bulls. I think they'll go 2-2. They've been very inconsistent to start off the season. Zach LaVine has looked okay at times. He obviously had that really good game last Saturday night, but this Bulls team does look like a little bit of a mess at the moment. The Toronto Raptors don't look much better. I think that they are going to go 2-2 as well in the midseason group stage, but I just love what I've been seeing out of Scotty Barnes this season. He's kind of breaking out here in year 3 after a letdown sophomore season. And technically coming in at number 2 with the point differential in their favor, I do have the Orlando Magic, who have looked solid to start off this season, and I just can't wait to just watch Paolo and Franz keep developing throughout the year. So yes, I do have the Boston Celtics going 3-1 and winning this group stage and advancing to the knockout stage. I mean, this team looks by far the best team in the Eastern Conference to start off the season. Their 1 through 5 is just so elite with Drew, Jalen, Jason, Derek White, and Kristaps Porzingis. All right, so let's move over to the Western Conference here in Group A. Coming in at 0-4, I don't think they're going to win a game in the midseason tournament. I do have the Portland Trailblazers. They've lost Anthony Simons in the start of the year. He's going to miss still the next couple of weeks. DeAndre Ayton and Jeremy Grant don't look like they're going off to a great start either. Scoot Henderson is definitely struggling to start off his rookie campaign, but I've loved what I've seen from Shaedon Sharpe. Coming in at number 4, I do have the Memphis Grizzlies at 2-2. Honestly, though, if Ja Morant was playing, and obviously if Steven Adams didn't get hurt, it's a lot of what-ifs. I think they could have won this thing because I think they would have played very hard here in the regular season, and they're a good regular season team. But this year, they have yet to win a game at the moment I'm recording this on Halloween. I think they'll go 2-2. It's still a solid team. Like, I like Triple J and Desmond Bane, but they're more of like 2nd and 3rd options rather than 1 and 2, what they need to be right now since Ja is still suspended. And coming in at the 3 spot, I do have the Utah Jazz at 2-2 as well. I think they'll have a slightly better point differential than the Memphis Grizzlies. They've been off to a weird start also, with not seeing much from like Taylor Hendricks or Keontae George yet. John Collins doesn't look like the greatest addition so far, but Lauri Markkanen still looks like Lauri Markkanen. And yeah, what's going on with Walker Kessler? So coming in at the 2 spot here, I do have the LA Lakers. I think they'll go 3-1 and they'll ride that momentum going into the knockout stage. And then lastly, I do have the Phoenix Suns also going 3-1. Hopefully they are fully healthy for this mid-season tournament and we get to see Bradley Beal and Devin Booker along with Kevin Durant by his side and advance to the knockout stage. So West Group B here coming in at the 5th spot. I do have the Houston Rockets at 1-3. They've been off to an abysmal start this season. They're definitely kind of getting used to each other. I mean, they added Dylan Brooks and Fred VanVleet. A lot of these young guys want to take the next step. Alperen Şengün looks fantastic. Not as much for Jabari Smith so far. Coming in at number 4, I do have the Dallas Mavericks going 2-2. This is a very competitive group for sure, so it hurts me to put Dallas here as the 4th spot because they've been off to a great start this season. Coming in at the 3rd spot, I do have the New Orleans Pelicans also going 2-2, but like Dallas, they've been off to a very good start here. The new James Harden LA Clippers, I also have at 2-2. I think just those 3 teams are just going to beat up on each other, and that's going to mean the Denver Nuggets go 3-1 and advance to the knockout stage as the winner of Group B in the West. So finally, in the West Group C, I have the San Antonio Spurs coming in last place at 1-3. They need a point guard around Wemby for sure, but you know what? I like what I've seen from some of their young guys this year, including Wemby. Next up, I have the Sacramento Kings going 2-2. It's still a solid roster, and I think with De'Aaron Fox healthy, and which he's not going to be, I thought they could have won this thing. I thought they could have rode the momentum and been a really good like mid-season tournament team, but with no De'Aaron Fox, I don't think they make it out of this stage. Next up, I have the Minnesota Timberwolves at 2-2. They have been off to a rocky start for sure. Mentioned that Hawks comeback win from before. How did they blow that game? Karl Anthony Towns has not had a good start to the 2024 season. Next up, I have the Golden State Warriors also going 2-2, but definitely having a better point differential than the last 2 teams. But Steph Curry, man, still looks like the best point guard in the NBA. And yeah, I'm taking maybe an upset pick here. The OKC Thunder going 3-1 and advancing advancing to the knockout stage. They've just been off to an incredible start this season. They have so much young talent that plays so hard, and I think they're going to have that momentum to go to the Elite Eight. So I have the Philadelphia 76ers winning the East Group A, the Milwaukee Bucks winning East Group B, with the New York Knicks coming in second and getting that wild card spot, and the Boston Celtics winning East Group C. In the West, I do have the Phoenix Suns winning the West Group A, with the LA Lakers getting the wild card spot, the Denver Nuggets winning West Group B, and the OKC Thunder winning West Group C. So that means we would have the Denver Nuggets going up against the LA Lakers here in the Elite Eight. I would take the Denver Nuggets to advance. We saw how they matched up in game 1 of the NBA season. I just don't know if anybody's stopping Nikola Jokic or this Nuggets team. It looks like they're destined to repeat. And the other leg in the Western Conference, the Phoenix Suns going up against the OKC Thunder. Man, I'm right in the hot hand. I think the OKC Thunder are going to keep their momentum going and go to the Final Four in Las Vegas of the midseason tournament behind Shea and Giddey and Chet Holmgren, who looks like a three-point god to start off his NBA career. And then over in the Eastern Conference, we do have the Philadelphia 76ers going up against the Milwaukee Bucks. I'm actually taking Philly here. I loved how they played against Milwaukee to start off their season, and they just added so many veteran pieces from this James Harden trade, in which they didn't have when they played them already. So yeah, I do think Philly's going to advance to the Final Four here. And then I have the Boston Celtics going up against the New York Knicks, a rematch from opening night as well between these two teams to start off their season. I'm choosing Boston. I do think that they are the better team and they would have home court here, so I have them advancing to go up against Philly here in the Final Four. So Denver versus OKC. I do think this is where OKC's Cinderella midseason tournament run comes to an end. I can't see them beating Denver, and I have Denver advancing to the midseason tournament finale. And then Boston going up against Philadelphia. This would be hilarious just because of how many times these two teams have played in the playoffs over the last 5 years, and it's coming here at the midseason tournament. And you know what? I'm taking Philly to finally beat Boston. The memes are going to be everywhere. The time they finally beat them is not even in the playoffs, at the midseason tournament. And we're going to have Jokic versus Embiid in the midseason tournament finale. And I'm going to go with the Denver Nuggets to win it all here of the inaugural midseason tournament, with the finals MVP, the midseason tournament final MVP being Nikola Jokic. Not going to lie, I am very excited for this season. I actually think it's going to spice up the regular season for sure, and I think it's going to be something here to stay. It's just a prize pool money at the moment, but I think a cool idea would be like an automatic playoff spot or automatic home court advantage for round 1, which could incentivize play for some of these teams that are going to be jockeying for seeds like 4 through 8, especially with the play-in tournament. Imagine just like being able to avoid the play-in tournament together as a 7th or 8th seed because you won the midseason tournament and you get locked into a top 4 seed. I don't know. I think that would be a little bit more value for these teams to play for. So let me know what you guys think of the midseason tournament and my predictions in the comments below. Who do you think is going to go to the Final Four and win it all? I hope you guys did enjoy the video. Drop a like if you did. I love you guys, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.